There's an authenticity to it and a sincerity that's just heartwarming.
No, 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 no.
Oh, my favorite.
Hello, dear gentlefolk of the internet. The stars have aligned, and your little demon doodle doll is back, boy. Prepare for some rage in the comments, I'm sure. You guys already know I love doing redesigns, and dear God, someone has to step in here. This blandness it's gonna kill me. I'm gonna piss some people off here, so just be ready, okay? Okay, I'm just gonna say it. This is not an anime, okay? It's not. It's not. Owl House is not an anime, Steven Universe was not an anime, Gravity Falls was not an anime, and Gumball wasn't an anime, although it did get close sometimes. I guess sometimes it was, but still. 𝙬𝚘𝚘𝚡𝚘𝚗𝚡 is a cartoon. Okay? We good? No? Well, that's fine. Because you're allowed to have a different opinion, so everyone's just gotta chill out, okay? Twitter? Am I upset about it? Yes. Will I still give it a chance? Sure. If the damn thing ever comes out, and if it's amazing, I'll say I was wrong. If Crunchyroll would ever release it and give us a proper chance to judge it. There's a lot wrong with 𝙬𝚘𝚘𝚡𝚘𝚘𝚡. It took money away from a generally underpaid industry to bring us something no one wanted and no one asked for. It's ripping off of a lot of other popular shows while not adding anything new to the equation, and what annoys me the most, it uses diversity, or a lack thereof, as a selling point. Someone has to say it, I'm sorry, but being a woman doesn't give you a pass. It doesn't. I'm sorry. I can't just burst into Disney, be all, here's my idea for a show, make it or you're sexist, and there's that. Having an all-woman or mostly woman team just doesn't impress me, and honestly, it feels more misogynistic than anything else. Like, are you saying it's special that a woman could sit down and make things? Despite just how much women make daily and throughout history? Did you know many of the original Disney animated classics were made by women? And that's back when women were still supposed to be at home taking care of kids. Sailor Moon was made by one woman. For 6 years. Inuyasha, Dead Man Wonderland, Ouran Host Club, Full Metal Alchemist, Black Butler, and Cardcaptor Sakura all came from, made by, or made mostly by women. If you have to hide behind some catchy line like our show was made exclusively by women as a major selling point, then I'm not interested. And your product is likely to be mediocre at best. Because that's how you chose to market it. You have no other selling points, so you play the feminist card. And if that doesn't work, just pander to the LGBTQ like every other major company during Pride Month. And I think, at the end of the day, that's the biggest problem. Marketing definitely killed High Guardian early on. From posters to interviews, nothing about it has been striking or exciting. I've heard more about the fact it was made by women than the actual show. What's it about? Hell if I know. Who are the characters? I had to Google it. What are they like? Seemingly one cardboard cutout after another. Don't believe me? Here's proof.
𝙬𝚘𝚘𝚡𝚘𝚘𝚡 is about 4 girls who live in a magical city and are going to school to become guardians.
Well, Oddity, you say, that's just the trailer. And I say to you, exactly. A trailer should give you some notion of who's who, what's going on, the rules behind this world, or at least be weird and thought-provoking enough to get you interested. One of the major rules in anime trailers, make it flashy and make it weird. That's all you need, and High Guardian Spice tripped up at the starting line but still wanted to be included in the race, so it threw someone's discarded trash across the finish line and hoped no one would notice. I've lost count of how many times I watched that trailer in preparation for this video. Want my notes? Here you go. That's it. That is all I gleaned from these trailers. What are the characters' names? They never said. What's going on? No idea. It looks like a ripoff from the Precure franchise and literally every other magical girl show. Some amorphous, dark, and evil blob is attacking the world. Oh no! Hurry, use sparkles and the power of friendship to defeat it. Now, you can do this and make it cool. Sailor Moon is still one of the most iconic animes ever. The original Precure series and Heartcatch Precure are my favorite animes to go back and rewatch, aside from Demon Slayer, because I'm a basic weeb like that. Look at the Wikipedia entry for these characters. That's it. Why is it called High Guardian Spice? Because the characters are named after spices. Why? I have no idea. Why not just make it a magical girl cooking show? As far as I know, only 𝙤𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚑𝚐 has done this. And they didn't do it that long. There's a whole untapped market for you. Hire me, Crunchyroll, because clearly your standards are just about as high as Netflix's. I want to see magical girl cooking. Can you imagine the hijinks? You wouldn't have just another basic plot with the same tropes as the last 30 years. It'd be cute as crap, but no, let's get another cut and paste magical show. Woo! This thing is the biggest collection of because reasons I have seen in so long. Well, Oddity, you're just being petty and sexist. Okay, you're allowed to feel that way, and maybe I am, but as a woman looking to get into this field, this feels like a slap in the face. Like we just went back into the 19th century and figured out women could wear pants. Did you know women could, like, sit down and draw things and make things? Like shows and cartoons? Wow, that's amazing! She's still gotta cook dinner, though. To those unclear, yes, this is clearly an exaggeration meant to capture the extreme end of my emotions. This is not an accurate statement, but a hyperbole. Thank you. There's a lot I can get into here, like the misappropriation of funds, the general cruelty of the anime industry, and the extremely sexist idea of women made it, so if you don't like it, you're sexist. But a lot of other people have covered that already, and similar arguments are brought up every single time a company tries this sort of thing. You would think we'd have moved on as a society by now, but it's fine. I'm gonna get into the characters, okay? Just know I will watch it if Crunchyroll ever grows a spine and releases it. They said it's already done, so just show off what you're oh so proud of. If it's good, I will apologize and eat my words. If not, let's just say I don't have my hopes up and Little Witch Academia is still on Netflix. Although Netflix is not much better in the anime scene, so character time!
My mom, she went off on some mission, but she never came back.
So for Rosemary, I kind of wanted to go for more of an armored paladin sort of magical girl. I took inspiration from Little Witch Academia since it looks like they're trying to do the same thing. I also took inspiration from Heartcatch Precure and various magical girl animes for the style. Something simple but still more anime than the Western style the show uses. I wanted to make sure it was different from Little Witch Academia, Owl House, and all the other magical girl anime, so that's why I gave her a little bit more bulk and armor instead of just a cute dress. Since the pink Mary Sue trope is very common in magical girl anime, usually that character is more of a blank slate so the audience can easily connect with them, I went ahead and left her mostly alone, just adding in some more detail here and there. So I added in some green and lavender to her design just to give her a little bit more visual interest. I don't know about you, but if a design is too monochromatic, I'm gonna get bored very quickly. You gotta give me them pretty colors to please my basic lizard brain, okay? So I took the design from her sword and added it to her uniform just to connect them like a little bit and to give her a little bit more detail. This will also come into play later because I needed to explain myself and I was lazy. So I wanted to make her sword cohesive but also different. Like if her sword was a hand-me-down from her mom. From what I can tell, her mom was also an adventurer, magic person, or guardian, or whatever. and her design was more lavender, so maybe her mom went to this school and the sword was a gift from the school or the headmaster or a teacher or something, and that's why it's on all the girls' uniforms. Yep, I planned that from the start. I didn't make that up post-design because I needed a reason. Nope, I plan ahead. It really annoyed me that all of these characters have nature names, but no nature details or colors, so that's another reason why I added these more green and vine detailings onto her design. I did forget to add the vine detail on the sword shot, so just pretend that's there, okay? It's totally there. I lied to you. It's been there the whole time. Your mind's playing tricks on you. I actually kind of like her hair, so I kept that in, obviously just adding more of an anime detail. Now, the key thing with magical girl uniforms is to make sure they're cute, visually interesting, but not overcomplicated so people can cosplay them or draw them. So I tried not to overcomplicate the uniform. After all, this is going to be animated technically, but just go ahead and ignore that for the next character, and we're just going to pretend here, okay? This is all pretend. Just shh, it's fine, shh. I know I didn't do too much to her, but I wanted to keep, again, that same pink Mary Sue trope. I don't know, I didn't mind her design too much, I just hated how plain it was. It's a magical world, you have magical girls with swords, you gotta give me something to work with here. Don't worry, I do go a lot more intense on the next characters.
Students, I'm going to be so great at magic.
So for Sage, I wanted to make her a little bit more unique. I'm sorry, this is gonna sound mean, there's no way around this, but that's the most cliche and dull witch design I have ever seen in my life. You have a magical world filled with giants, elves, dwarves, magic, and some kind of sentient mimic treasure chest. And you just decided to go to Party City for your witch character? It's fine. Witches are just my favorite characters. I'm not angry about it. It's fine. So since I wanted to do more nature, because nature names take a shot of water every time I say nature in this, I decided to make her more of a green witch, so leaves and vines and all of that green stuff. I don't go outside. My state's always on fire. I was pretty tired here and I thought, wouldn't it be neat if she had some sort of prosthetic limbs or something? So I did it. Now, since I'm assuming Rosemary is supposed to be the bombastic and hot-headed leader, it's hard to find the right word, and I'm just assuming here, I decided to play up Sage's shy aspect a little bit more. It's hard to tell exactly what sort of character she's supposed to be, so I just wanted to make it clearer that she's obviously the shy type. So for Sage, I kind of made a little bit of a story for her. So she's been practicing magic since she was little, but there was some sort of accident, so that's why she has these prosthetics. And then of course she'll need some kind of scarring. I just really like mutilating my characters, apparently. You'll see me give her those scars later. Now, since the creators of the show like to say that the show is inclusive and diverse and other zing words that are good for advertising, so I think doing something like this with Sage is actually pretty cool. Like, you get to watch this girl who's been injured and disabled and scarred go from shy and timid and scared of her magic to a strong, confident, powerful witch. I don't know, I like characters overcoming their trauma and issues and stuff. It gives you that good serotonin, boy. I do worry that I made her a bit too detailed, but considering the power of anime and the budget Crunchyroll has to throw at projects like this while not putting any money back into the industry for thousands, maybe millions of underpaid animators working on these cartoons and animes in terrible conditions and time constraints, I didn't worry too much. Now, the coloring here was a pain in the butt. I didn't want to make everything green since time, however you pronounce this, the archer character, her main color is green, so I go back and forth so freaking much. Eventually, off screen and at like 2 in the morning, because I forgot to push record, I finally got an okay color scheme. I wanted to change it a little bit more, but I couldn't decide on a nice one. You guys will see me continue to adjust things later on, don't worry. I just wanted a good base to build on so I can finally finish this, because she took forever. So for her scars, I wanted something that was more magical as opposed to actual, wounds. This is supposed to be a show for kids, I think, so we're not doing gore this time. Maybe next time. I wanted some sort of colored marking, like in the world of High Guardian Spice, this would be considered a bad thing, you know, a magical mutilation or something. I wanted something that was floral since she's a nature witch, but also something really organic in shape, like an acid burn or something. Should I go to therapy? I feel like anyone saying this probably needs therapy. I make sense sometimes in my brain at 2 in the morning when I've had alcohol or something. It's fine, just don't question me. Since her staff in the cartoon has this purple orb thing, and the actual plant she's named after has purple flowers, that's what I decided to go with for her scars. Is she too detailed? Probably. Do I care? Not really. I honestly think she's my favorite design, and I really want to play around more with this sort of nature witch prosthetic idea. If you guys have any ideas for this design, you gotta let me know, because I have a lot of magical characters that I'm sort of putting on the sidelines, and I really want to do stuff with, so I am saving this design for later.
Onward to victory!
Now, I'm kind of sick of the basic dwarf blacksmith trope. I get it, I understand it, but it's overdone and I'm bored. It is perfectly fine to make those characters, I'm not gonna bash you if you do, but I am bored, so I'm not gonna. It's one of those most, like, overdone fantasy tropes, you know, like elven archers or witches in long black dresses. So I took a little bit of inspiration from Dungeons & Dragons and the tieflings. I hope I'm getting that right. I'm still learning about all of that, so please don't kill me. I just think those designs are really cool and kind of wanted an excuse to design one even though I don't play Dungeons & Dragons. I just think they look neat. So I made her pointed ears a little bit more exaggerated and kind of downward so she doesn't look like an elf, because I already did that with Sage anyway. And then I went and gave her these asymmetric horns. I saw them on a character once and I thought they were really cool, and these designs are really boring, so it happened. I don't know what to tell you, my hand slipped. So since I'm going with the handed down weapons, I kind of wanted to make it look like this, you know, is a handed down weapon, so I put this little family sigil on it. I'm not good at designing these sorts of things. I just kept it really basic, so it's based on parsley leaves and fire. Since people keep saying she's a blacksmith, I don't know, it was on the wiki, I don't know what to tell you. I kept the same basic color scheme, obviously just switching some things around. When I was looking into tieflings, it says that natural tones and natural colors are pretty common, but so are rusty and reddish tones, so I thought that could be kind of interesting. I'll be adjusting things here and there, but I want to keep it all in the warm tones. I always like adding one really different or complementary color to my palette, so I used the same blue that was in her original design and just kind of made it a little bit brighter. Looking back, I do wish I added some sort of crazy details like I did with Sage, but I honestly have no idea what to do here. I only saw her for like 2 seconds in the trailer and I don't think she said anything, so I have no idea what I'm working with. I don't know, maybe I just spent all my inspiration on Sage, because I had nothing for her. You guys will have to let me know what you think about her. She's got a lot of room to grow, so I don't know, maybe if the show ever gets released, we'll do a part 2.
Team fighting girls, join the battle!
We are not calling ourselves that.
Now you remember how I said I used up all my inspiration on Sage? Well, I lied. I was trying to think of ways I could make her not just an elf, because that's overdone and I'm way too bored for that, but I couldn't think of any way to make an elf different. All the ones I've seen follow the same basic template, you know, pointed ears, sometimes facial tattoos, and green clothes, because elves just have endless amounts of green dye. And they're always archers, or mages. And that's fine, but now I have 2 pointed ear characters, so... and now what? Well, I started thinking of fairies, but I don't want to just slap some pretty wings on her and call it done. Plus, I think that the show's going more for pixies instead of fairies, unless I'm misremembering and thinking of the Owl House. I swear, the people behind this cartoon did all of this on purpose, because I watched that trailer so many times and I still can't remember anything about it, and I think I'm just remembering stuff from Owl House. Anyway, I decided to go for more of a fae or woodland nymph sort of vibe, so instead of elf ears, I gave her fawn or deer ears and some antlers instead of just putting on horns. Now maybe this is just me, but Time's design is just irksome. Like, she's an archer, right? She's the sniper of the group. So why, out of all of the characters, does she have the most hair in her face? That always annoys me whenever there's a female archer or sniper character. Just tie her hair back, give her a hat, give her a headband. She can still have pretty flowing hair, just get it out of her eyes. So I stumbled on Celtic and Viking inspired hair. That's kind of what I went for, just simplified, because again, these are theoretically supposed to be animated. Now I wanted her outfit to be the most mobile out of all of them, so I didn't give her anything flowy besides the cloak that she sometimes wears. Not gonna lie, I kind of forgot about the whole button style top for the uniform, and I drew this and I liked it and I didn't want to change it. Could I have gone back and fixed it? Sure, but I did this and I think it suits her better, so she's kind of the odd one in the group anyway, so I think she'd be the one who didn't have a matching uniform. Now for her cloak, for realism, I kind of went and roughed it up a little bit. I think that kind of makes it look a little more leaf-like too, which again, nature. But I also gave it a more convenient shape, so it's enough to cover up with and keep warm, but you have a higher cut in the back, so you don't risk tripping on the hem when you're kneeling down to draw arrows all stealthily like they always do for some reason. I went pretty asymmetric this time, covering up her bracing arm, the one that holds the bow, so she wouldn't be at risk of injuring herself or snagging skin on an arrow, and I made sure that there wouldn't be anything hindering her other arm when she's drawing back. I don't know why I gave her asymmetric socks too, but I did. Just keep the asymmetry going, I guess. I didn't want to bulk up her legs, and it feels weird to put her in pants when everyone else is wearing skirts, so I just did the same cut I did with Parsley in her uniform style, just shorter. I figured short boots might be better for running around for your life in the woods, and I wanted to keep that leaf shape going, so she has a really impractical boot shape, I guess, even though we just talked about how short boots are probably better. This is fine. My brain is just a living contradiction, I guess. Now, while working on time, I stumbled onto 𝚂𝚘𝚘𝚎𝚑𝚐𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚑, I'm so sorry if I say your name wrong, and a video where she talks about her experience with vitiligo. I'll link it down below, but I found her talking about her experience really heartwarming and kind of empowering. Like, vitiligo is a disease at the end of the day, and it affects everyone differently, but I think we can make it a little bit easier on those who have it by being more accepting as a society. Now, I did give her vitiligo as a reference to 𝚂𝚘𝚘𝚎, but I think it's also important to remember that vitiligo isn't just a skin discoloration or aesthetic. It's still a disease, and people can have hearing loss or vision impairments, and the entire disease is still an autoimmune disease. Sorry to go on a tangent for a little bit, but I found while researching it was a pretty intense discussion between people saying it's just skin color and actual people with the condition saying it's more than that. I'll link some readings down below if you're interested, but I don't know, I just love the fact conditions are being more accepted in society. I think we may just need to get reminded every now and then that things are a little bit more than just an aesthetic, you know? Okay, I'm gonna get back to the design, sorry for the tangent. So for her weapon, I didn't change too much. Obviously, I just added some details to it and played around with colors. Now, I don't know where she keeps her arrows, maybe in her hair, because I don't see a quiver, so I gave her one on her waist. Some people say this is better, some people say it's worse, but I figured this would work better for her since she's got some really classic poofy hair and a cloak. Now, this could present some problems when animating, so I did give it this, like, satchel thing so you can pull it closed. I figured that might help prevent arrows from spilling out while you're running for your life and give the animators a break from drawing a million arrows over and over again, unless they use 3D models like Kill la Kill and Demon Slayer and literally every other anime it seems right now. I did play around with color choices a little bit. I actually like her palette, not much because all the color palettes so far are bland, but I like the juxtaposition of greens and reds. It's not something you see very often for elven archers, so I appreciate the bold choice. I don't know, I feel at the end of the day I may have made her a bit too plain. Again, maybe I'm just comparing everyone to Sage because she's my favorite, but I'm not sure what other details I could really add to her, or whether I should. I don't know how much of her design will ultimately get covered by her cloak, and I don't want to make her too nature heavy just because she lives in the forest, maybe, I don't know. I have no source material I'm working with. All of this video is ultimately a guess based on a few sentences from a wiki and like 1.5 minutes of the actual show, so you gotta give me a break here. So what do you think? I wanted to keep some elements of the original designs in there, so I'm sorry if I didn't deviate as much as you would like. Like I said, despite my snarky attitude, there's a lot of elements of the original designs I like, or at least understand. Like the color-coded characters and the use of cliche tropes like the pink Mary Sue, the dwarf blacksmith, elven archer, and party city witch dress. And to reiterate, just because I don't have high hopes for this show and I'm already critical of it, doesn't mean I won't give it a chance. I can see past my bias and accept that High Guardian Spice could be a completely fine show. It may even be amazing. I think if they had made some changes regarding marketing and the general attitude surrounding the show, things probably wouldn't look so bad for High Guardian Spice. I hope, if anything, the crew behind High Guardian Spice and Crunchyroll as a whole can learn something, and I really do hope for the best for this team. Sorry to drag it all out, but people can be very overly reactive on the internet, especially regarding issues like feminism and LGBTQ, especially in media. So I just wanted to make it perfectly clear. I know I have like a ton of extra salt all over these rant videos, but just know that I am perfectly willing to give it a shot. So please let me know what you guys think in the comments about High Guardian Spice, the design and style of the show, my proposed changes, maybe even just how they're handling things. And if you think I'm wrong and High Guardian Spice will be the Sailor Moon of magical girls for Western audiences, let me know. I'm really curious where everyone stands on this, and I know it's kind of a polarizing thing in the anime community. Please respect each other in the comments too. Remember, people can and are entitled to different views than yours, and people can disagree about things. So, with that all out of the way, I'd like to thank you guys for hanging around, and I will see you all next time I crawl out of the abyss and spout more nonsense. Bye for now. We good? No? Well, that's fine. Lexi, you good, pupper? You comfy? I'm not getting that pillow back, am I? Oh my, no big huff. Alright, are you seriously snoring right now? I'm gonna apologize if you can hear snoring in the background. My dog fell asleep and she is out. Now maybe this is just me, but times design or... How do you fucking say that? Hang on. It is time. Okay.